Hello, welcome to BizWoman by BizWatch Nigeria. My name is 9JAKIDS, and we have with us Mrs. Titi Adewusi. Enlighten us, please tell us who you are and what you do, please.
Okay, so my name is Titi Adewusi. When people call me Mrs. Titi, sometimes I'm wondering who they're talking about. So my name is Titi Adewusi. I'm one of the 3 female co-founders of 9JAKIDS. And what 9JAKIDS is simply doing is solving the problem of bringing affordable education to children in Africa, so to the African child, using technology and gamification. Yes, we are making learning fun, so that the children want to learn, they're happy to learn, and they retain what it is that they learn. All in all, we're hoping to be able to improve the standard of education in Nigeria and in Africa at large. And it's not even just only academics, because we go beyond academics. We look at the total development of the child. So we're also looking at values. We're looking at digital literacy, financial literacy, because every parent wants their child to be financially independent. So money is important. So it's part of it's part of the things that we're looking at. So that's us. That's really about 9JAKIDS, myself in a nutshell.
Would it be right to say you are notable for 9JAKIDS, or have you done any other thing before this?
So what you say is that, well, I've done a lot of things. So let me step back and say, where am I coming from? So of course, I studied engineering, mechanical engineering in school. Okay. And then when I graduated, then the happening jobs. If you're not going to go and work in an oil company, then the happening jobs were a bank. That's where the money was. By the time I started work, telecoms had not even come, so it wasn't one of the ones there. So all my friends were working in bank or oil company. So I went ahead. I actually worked in the bank for I did my NYC service there, and then stayed on for like another year. And then from there, I then worked with KPMG. Then it was called Anderson. It was a consulting and audit company, and I was there for like a decade. I was there for over like almost 11 years. Then after I left KPMG, I actually went to join a colleague of mine, an ex-colleague of mine, that started a fast food restaurant. And the name of the fast food restaurant is The Place. It's quite popular in Lagos. Oh, okay. Yeah, so it's quite popular in Lagos. Yeah. Yes, and expanding. So I was there for a while. I was like, executive management. I was like the general manager, but I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. But sometimes you start life and you're not very sure what you wanted to do. So I knew that wasn't what I wanted to do. I wasn't passionate about children. I was passionate about learning. But when people think you're passionate about children and learning, they immediately think, oh, you want to start up a school. No, I didn't want to start up a school. But I know that I was very much into learning, creating content, interesting content back then, because I was a volunteer teacher in our children's church, and I've been that for over a decade. So I was, voted a number of times the most creative teacher, because mine was really about how do you make the lesson creative, fun, so that the child learns effortlessly. And so that was me. So I was notably known for those things before I became noticeably known for 9JAKIDS. And then it was somewhere along the line that we then, myself and 2 of my sisters, started 9JAKIDS. And how did it all start? It really started with my youngest son. My youngest son is what you call a digital native. So, when he was 2, I thought, he was so brilliant. He would take Aino's phone. The next thing, he has maneuvered through your phone. He has found the games. He's played the games. He couldn't read. But it seemed as if he just, I say, hey, God has blessed me with a genius. But once he started full school, I didn't see that. He really didn't like learning. But once you give him a gadget, once you give him a device, it seemed as if he came alive. It seemed as if he could learn easily. And so me, that I was thinking of other ways to help him with his learning. And it was then one of my sisters suggested that, why not, do it based on what he knows and likes. And that's when the idea really came. Let's develop content. Let's take what he's learning in school and make them into little games that he will like, because he really likes, playing games. And that's really what happened. So, this is my two sisters that were joining me in, thinking about it, that we all then came together, and that's really how 9JAKIDS was formed. So we said we wanted to do things for children. We wanted to be proudly African. So in choosing the name, that's how we now came in 9JAKIDS. We want people to know that, the kids have arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, and that, because we promote not just academics. That's why I said we promote the total development, not just academics. We want academics, they are there. When it comes to values, they are there. When it comes to, being who they are, happy about their heritage, they are there, So we looked at it in the total development. When it comes to money matters, financial literacy, using technology, they are also there. So that was really, really what we thought about in terms of the total development of a child using technology and gamification.
Okay, so how exactly does 9JAKIDS work? Like, do you have children? Like you mentioned using digital platforms. So how are you able to communicate with the children? How are you able to do it?
Okay, so what it is that there are many ways. So you can go to any of the stores. You can go to the Apple Store. You can go to the Google Play Store. You can go to Windows Store. You can also go to the Amazon Store. And then just look for 9JAKIDS as an app. So it can be downloaded onto a phone, a computer, a laptop, a tablet as an app. And then you can play it that way. You can also play it online. So you can just go online. You have to register. So you set up an account using your email. And then once you select your email, you then have access to the various, games. It has a subscription model. You would get some games for free as a start. And then if you want more games, then you then go and access and pay some little token for it. It's also interesting that right now, if you can also pay through, we're on MTN and Glo platform. So if you just text 9JAK to 8012 on MTN, then you'll be able to subscribe to the 9JAKIDS games. Or if you text NKWA to 8012 on Glo, you also be able to, access the 9JAKIDS games. So that's really how it works. And then you can play any game. So you can play games on math, English, science, financial literacy, academics, values, and all that.
Okay, that really sounds fun. I mean, I would love to play a game where I'm able to learn. I love playing games. So I look forward to things that help me learn as we move on, because to be very honest, it's not easy to pick up a book and to sit and read. It's not really easy. How are you able to? How are you able to monitor the progress of the children?
Okay, so what happens is that when they play the game, so the games are like mini quizzes. So let's say, for instance, you're playing a game that is teaching you about the states of Nigeria. So it's a game that you can play. And at the end of it, it will then tell you whether you got it correct or not. And it will always show you the answer, because remember, it's about learning. It's not about trying to flog you whether you know or not. So it will always show you the right answers. And then what happens is that it gives you points. So it gives you points, and then you know how well that you're doing. You can also be on the leaderboard to show where you are. And they were also rolling out some new features that allows your parents to then see more about your learning points. So then suggest the next game to you to say, okay, why not play this next game, to help you with that topic. So those are the various ways in which your parents can also monitor. So increasingly, we recently rolled out the parents dashboard. So the parents can then on the dashboard see, this is how many games they played, this is how they're doing, and then helps them and also suggest to them what additional games that your child should be doing.
Okay, this is really fun. How are you able to track how far your game has gone? I mean, is it limited to a region? How are you able to track how many people are using it, have used it, and I mean the state or country? How are you able to track progress?
Yeah, so we do some tracking, and it's interesting. The one thing about technology is these days is that there's a lot of analytics that happens at the back end that can then allow you to track a bit of where your people are coming from, using various methods. You can check whether they're in country or out country. And it's interesting that we have so many people from all over the world. Sometimes when people look, I'm like, how did these people even hear about them? Maybe it's one Nigerian that sent it to them. So that's the beautiful thing. And of course, you can also monitor from the back end how many people you have are using it currently as of right now, how many people have visited during the month. There are a lot of those analytics that can go in. So currently we have about 50,000 people that are using the game. So we're really excited about that. And that 50,000 has been a blessing courtesy of COVID. So COVID has helped a lot of people, because before then, when I go and market to people and tell them games, they're like, games, I don't know. I want my child to be reading book,
Yes.
I want my child to be reading book. I want my child to be reading book and doing, people don't realize that people can learn in different ways. I always use this example when I talk to people. I tell them, anybody that played Monopoly when they were young, you realize that when you played Monopoly when you were young, you didn't know that Monopoly was teaching you about the streets of London. You didn't know Monopoly was teaching about money. It was just a fun game to play. But do you know, years later, if anybody asks me, name 10 streets in London, even before I even traveled to London, I could immediately name them. Why? Because I remember the Monopoly game. I could tell you, because I knew where your something needed to land for you to make money. You needed to be in Mayfair, those places. There was Trafalgar Square, there's Coventry. All those things was from playing Monopoly. So that is really what I tell people. And people remember effortlessly, because there's a thing about when you do something, there's a lot more association that goes in your brain than when you read. That's why they say that when you want people to remember things, there are two things you do. You let them do something about that, and the second thing you do is let them teach somebody. Once you do those things, people will always remember. So parents don't understand. They say, no, I want him to read, I want him to study. How can he be playing game? No, game is for later. But there's some children that really learn better this way, playing games. And honestly, let's be honest, playing games allows you to remember. When you think of the games that we play, look at snakes and ladder. If you want to teach a child about counting, you can use snakes and ladder. So it's a game that teaches you about counting, because when you get to 34 and you did a 6, you have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's really a wonderful technique for helping children learn.
Definitely. I'm definitely going to, now that I know this, normally I like playing games. I get to learn from it. But it's something we really have to consider, probably to enlighten parents that games actually educate their children. Well, I think at this point, it's safe to say your son actually inspired 9JAKIDS.
Yes, he really inspired it. And you know what was so interesting? He'll come back from school and say, Mommy, have you people now developed a game on this topic? So for him, he didn't see why he needed to be studying the hard way. There's some days I'll tell him go and study, but like, oh, no, okay, can you just play a 9JAKIDS game instead? As far as it's concerned, okay, once I say, let me play 9JAKIDS game, she won't tell me to go and read. And that way, he was happy to play the game. And he saw that, there was improvement, because he knew that I could play this game that makes me so happy. And at the same time, I'm actually doing well in this subject. So he was killing two birds, so to speak. He was killing two birds with one stone. And for me, that's really what we are all about. And that's really what we want to achieve, where children are happy to learn, not the one that you're dragging them. Come on, do this lesson, They're actually happy to learn, and they remember because they had so much fun learning.
Okay, how is it like starting and running the company with your sisters?
Well, honestly, it's interesting, but it's been fantastic. And I think that's because you're running a business with your sisters because they're all bringing something to the table. So I handle a lot more of the marketing, coming up with the next ideas, the next game. I have another sister. She studied computer science. She's the one that actually manages the development of the game. And that's what she did, then that's what she had been doing. So it was fantastic just getting her on board. Then I had another sister who was into technology, so the infrastructure that the whole game system seems. So everybody came with something, and so it was easy working because everybody was bringing a particular skill that the other person was so to speak, the expert in. So that was fantastic. I think the other thing is that having lived with them all my life, it's easier to know how best to manage each person. And because we're all chasing the same goal. It's not about anything or ego. It's really about chasing the same goals. We all want this thing to succeed. We all share innovation. So it's easier. We know each other's strengths, and we know when to back off when we disagree, and when to agree to disagree, which is the same thing that happens anywhere else. So it's really, really been fun. The whole family, honestly, is supporting at the background one way or the other. So it's amazing. Your family are always your first supporters. So having them support all the way, it's just fantastic.
Okay, that's really cool. Do you partner with other organizations or educational bodies for this?
Honestly, I don't know any entrepreneur that wants to walk this journey alone. My goodness, that's so much load, that's so much burden. So one of the things that I learned earlier is, collaboration, not competition. So I'm always looking for people to collaborate with because we can leverage on each other's technical expertise. We can leverage on each other's network, and when it's more people doing something, it's easier to have bigger goals. So I remember that just some of the partnerships we've partnered with. So I remember that there's a lady called Safety Chick. She's into about safety for schools, for children and schools. And so we partnered together to develop a safety game just after when schools were resuming after the pandemic. So it was easier for us to say, come together. You have the technical knowledge, I have the tools and the skills. Let us partner together, and then we did that. I organized a financial literacy webinar. I went to partner with someone else on it because that's her main area. She had been doing that thing. So we partnered, created some, games for that, and that was with Kidpreneur Africa. Recently, just like a month or two ago, we partnered with two organizations, two women that are passionate about STEM and STEAM. We partnered to organize a webinar. That webinar had 1,300 children, a virtual webinar. I'm not sure I would have been able to do it on my own, but when I had 3 other people working with me on it, it was easier to do it. Even they to say that they had thought about it, but how it is, it was going to be a bit time consuming for them. But can you imagine, 3 of us came and pulled it off? Honestly, it was one of the largest virtual webinars for children that had happened here in Nigeria. So one of the things about collaborations is you need to just do that. Don't plan to do things alone. Let me even give you one very fantastic one. I'm always like, let's try and collaborate. So when I meet people that are in the edtech, I want to know what it is that you're doing. How can we work together? Are there opportunities to work together? So I met someone, and then we started, working together. What was interesting is he went for an exhibition, and someone approached him and said, I'm looking for someone that does this. He says, I don't do that, but I know someone that does it. And the next thing, he introduced me to the company. That company is a major multinational IT company. So you can see that there's room for collaboration all the time. So I'm big on collaboration. I'm big on how can we work together? What can I do? How can I support you? How can you support me? Don't go this journey alone. You can only create great things when you are more than one. Look at all the companies that, think of any of them. When you look at Google, when you look at Facebook, when you look at, just say, even when you look at Jack Ma, people only know the face of the company. So people will know me, Titi of 9JAKIDS, but it's a whole army. So when you look at Facebook, it's not one person that started it. When you look at, Alibaba, it wasn't one person that started it. It was a group of people. So what I would say is always try and work. Even people that you feel that are in the same sector with you. There might be complementary things. So for instance, someone is selling tablets. I can say, can we work together? You know, whereby when people ask me, oh, do you do tablets? I say, no, we don't do tablet, but I know someone that does tablets. And then on his tablets, he has my games. Do you get? So it's all those kind of, you know, connections that do through collaborations during the pandemic, when people could not go. I collaborated with a group of people in the education space, and we started a program on YouTube called the Good Morning Education Show. It's collaboration. That thing officially clocked 1 year this month. On our own, we each have dropped out because everybody will be busy. But with a group of people doing together, it's easier. So that if one person can't show, there are 5 other people that are there to hold the fort. But if so many people can't show, there are like 2-3 people to hold the fort, showing Monday to Friday every day for 1 year, except for certain breaks. So I found that a lot of great things are done with collaboration. You can do something bigger where you are thinking of doing something that is a duplex. When you decide to do it with a group of people, you end up building an estate. So I would always recommend, you know, look for people to collaborate with. Whatever it is that you're doing, with collaboration, it will be bigger. You reach more people. Yeah.
Definitely. Do you have a plan to get parents to actually make their children or encourage their children to play these games? Or is it something that, I mean, you have it in way to include it in curriculums, maybe meet Ministry of Education to encourage children and their parents?
I know it's giving me ideas.
Yeah.
Thank you. Actually, honestly, it's you know the truth. Like I said before the pandemic, it was what we call an uphill battle. It was nobody was interested. Everybody, you know, children were going to school, so why they want to, you know, do a lot on the computer and all that. And then the pandemic happened, and then suddenly people realized that, okay, you know, instead of when I talk with children for like 30 minutes, they lose interest. So I need various activities for them to do. And then the activities have to be different. That's why people increasingly started looking to games. So all I wonder why it was me chasing you and begging you, look at my proposal, and they'll say, I'm coming. You know, the dynamics changed. So what's happened, a lot of people are increasingly looking for how to keep their children engaged. You know, they want them to learn. Schools want more and more online resources. Before, they weren't interested in online resources. They were like, why do they need this? They're in the classroom. They're already there in the classroom. You know, but now they realize that with online, you can do so much more. So we keep marketing to schools. We partner with organizations that have the parents. So that's why we partnered with, you know, some of the telecoms. We've partnered with some people that are already, some organizations that are already servicing schools. And various other people and we also go to parents one-on-one. So we have, you know, we have blogs, we have websites, we have Telegram communities that are also reaching out to this parent. And I think it would be wonderful, you know, if we work with government, because government now, they will never have thought about, you know, creating more and more for online. But after the pandemic, they're increasingly looking to establish things online. But what I would always say to them, don't try and create it yourself. Why not work with the people that are on ground to create these things, rather than, you know, say you want to start getting consultants to create it. Work with people already on ground who have already created this content and see how to make it available. And to be fair to the government, during the pandemic, they did work with like 2 or 3 organizations to allow the children have access to those platforms for free during the period of the pandemic. So that was also good. So I think they just need to do more. Let's get this thing out there. You know, I would say we also need government to help support to make data more affordable, because all these things, a lot of these things rest on data. So if data is more affordable, then it's easier for parents to also consider. And the parents say, they're using all my data. They're using all my data. So those are some of the supports we need from government, honestly. You know, policies that would support the local content that are pushing and creating content already, policies that will make the internet more available, more affordable, and even free, if possible, on some educational sites. And then I think lastly, the cost of devices. That's also another major one. You know, whether it's laptop, computers, smartphones, or tablets. If government can do policies and concessions that make these things maybe the taxes on them more affordable, you find that this thing will just open up, because parents say, I have 3 children. They broke the computer the other time. I can't buy 3, so and these are genuine. Honestly, if you have 3 children, say you want to buy 3 laptops, it was a challenge. And that's one of the things that schools faced during the pandemic, where you have 3 different lessons, 3 different times. Meanwhile, it's only 1 computer that we have. So I feel those are some of the supports that we need to drive, leveraging on technology in the education space.
Okay. As a woman in business, especially in the tech side, would you say you've encountered any obstacles, like challenges at all?
Well, I think in business, first of all, there are plenty challenges. I think in business, there are lots of challenges. So honestly, we encounter challenges every day. If you don't encounter challenges every day, but I think our biggest is the fact that the education sector is very fragmented. So it's, there's no one way to reach a lot of people. If there was one big umbrella, one big association that you could go market with, even as you move from state to state, everything is fragmented. So it makes marketing and distribution hard. The other thing is that, education in Nigeria, a lot of schools are struggling. That's the honest truth. A lot of schools, sometimes I even want to give them the things for free because they are struggling. When you go and talk to a school, like, oh my goodness, parents have not paid school fees. This pandemic couldn't also really affected their revenues. So you yourself, you want to help them. So the education sector is a sector that needs more funding. That's the honest truth. So it's a sector that needs more funding for us to get the quality of what it is that we want out of the sector. So those are some of the challenges, funding. People say, but your thing should be free now, isn't it education? I say, will we not pay staff? Will we not pay salary? All the infrastructure, the cost of your server, it's not free, But I understand them. You want education to be something that is easily accessible, but there's a cost to it. And so we need more support in terms of funding in the sector. Of course, a lot of this funding goes to men. That's one of the things. But I think, I was recently at an event organized by the Federal Ministry of Communication, and it was for women in tech. And it was really about them discussing how can they help and support women in tech. And some of the things that we said was that let them ensure that there's more inclusion. By the time you make it compulsory for more women to be on the board of these tech companies, a particular amount in terms of your staff, do more events for women, starting from primary school, that will support children understanding what tech is, that tech is not all coding. There are other interesting parts of tech, just help grooming the women so that there are more of us in the sector and we can form a, greater force to be reckoned with in the sector. So there are lots of challenges. Challenge being a woman is one of those things. But apart from that, those challenge of doing business in Nigeria, I think is just one of the main challenges that one experiences as well.
Okay, and what keeps you motivated? On a daily basis?
That's hard. I think one of the things that keeps me motivated is that I'm not alone. I always look at my friends that are solopreneurs and I'm like, how do you do it? The secret about not doing something alone is that 3 of you are never discouraged. 3 of you, the probability that all 3 of you are discouraged is very slim. So 2 people can be discouraged, and the other person brings in fire. Say, oh, well, let's look at it. What about doing like that? When you have problems or when you have other commitments that are competing, you have 2 other people that are holding the fort for you. So I think for me, that's one of the blessings that I have, that I started this thing with 2 other people. So I was never alone. The burden of all the things that you had to do was never alone. It was shared by 3 people. So it really, really makes it, if your ideas dry up, when you meet together, something will always ignite. And I think that's really the beauty of it, that it's not a journey to go alone. When you are more, it's easier. The work is easier. The stress is, there's some days that you yourself, you're tired. You just, okay, I'm tired, I'm going home. But there are 2 other people that are helping out. So you can take some of those decisions. So I think for me, that's one of the things that helps. Of course, great faith in God. Yeah. Because the amount of prayers I pray as an entrepreneur, I used to pray that as an employee. I'm telling you, the one of prayers I pray as an entrepreneur. I didn't used to pray those kind of prayers. You know, it's interesting. By 2019, at the end, just before we entered the pandemic yet, I was praying. I said, God, I need you to do one major government policy that will just make this edtech a really attractive industry. I didn't know God was going to answer my prayers. I didn't even know He was going to answer my prayers in a mighty way. And just cause COVID to happen, you know, because COVID was really the answer that this sector, EdTech, needed. So there's a lot of prayer that happens. And I think sometimes I just pack my laptop and just go and go and sleep and watch TV. So I think that thing of finding what is the way to distress. You know, some days the problems are there. I say, hey, the problem will not die. Monday will come. Let me go home and go and sleep. So I think it's important that you have people that help you. You have a way to distress, because the stress can really, really, really be a lot. You have people that help you. You know, I have a number of communities that I've joined that is such a strong community. So if you need any help, just type it inside the community. Please, who knows who can connect me to? Someone will always answer. So I think it's also the support network that you have. So if you're an entrepreneur, I would always advise you be a member of a number of communities. Those communities they're like another level of support system. You can't believe it. They will tell you, oh, why not check this thing out? Oh no, me sure I did this, but this is what I did to solve it. So it's important to be part of community. I think those three things, honestly, are the things that help me keep sane, you know, in this journey.
Okay, speaking of COVID, how did COVID affect 9JAKIDS?
You don't hear me say COVID was blessing in disguise. You know,
okay.
So COVID opened up the best seasons of our lives. That's what had happened. You know, COVID it opened up a world gate. That's how we just put, you know, when they say open heavens, that's really what COVID did, because it allowed people to actually consider technology as a key thing that needs to be in the classroom. And even though people are back in the physical classroom, they're still using it as an alternative in the classroom, outside the classroom, even as they do hybrid. A lot of organizations as well also considered online. So during that COVID period, they couldn't do their trainings. You know, that normal training, staff training that you do, they couldn't do their training. Even with the restrictions, they couldn't do it. So they started looking onto online training. And then online training can be boring sometimes. So they started looking to gamification, you know, adding gaming elements to their training. And so we do, to be honest, 2020, from the time the pandemic hit to the end of the year, we worked non-stop. We have not worked so much like that since the company started. We worked non-stop. By December, we had to close down the office for like 3 weeks. And as we just said, you know what, after this project closes, we close down to January. The office, everybody went on holiday for 3 weeks. That's how tired we were. Because from January, we started work, the pandemic happened, we worked remotely all through, and we were working hard, you know, all through the pandemic period. It was just stressful. So it allowed a lot of people, you know, the struggle we were fighting against mindset, that one was cleared. And then we had more people embracing, more people want to do fun learning. The children were playing games and they saw the difference. And so that really opened it up to us. A lot of companies were now considering us partnering with them more than ever. And I think the advantage was because we had been at it for a while, when people were now looking for companies to partner with, we were, you know, one of the people that were highly recommended. So it was a fantastic year.
That's yeah, I mean, I'm glad you were able to, I mean, ride on it. And I mean, the pandemic was kind of funny because, I mean, no one expects that something like that would happen. But the fact that you were able to, I mean, educate people, because having to sit down at home, not going out, I mean, some children were not able to learn, but knowing that your game was available for them to learn, I mean, it feels really great to hear that. But how are you able to, I mean, relax and look as pretty as you do? I mean, having fun. I really like to know how you do it.
Okay, so I think one of the things that I do is I try to work hard Monday to Friday. I'm ready to put in all the hours Monday to Friday. Saturday and Sunday, if I do work, is more leisure work. So I do a lot of my socializing and distressing over the weekend. So I do a lot of socializing on Saturday. On Sunday, I'm on my bed. That's my place on Sundays, on my bed. It's like if, how when you put your phone to charge, that's what my Sunday is like. The battery is charging. The battery of my life is charging. So that's really how I work for me. But if ever during the week, I've had like 3 back-to-back stressful days, I'm most likely going to not start work early in the morning. So I've learned to create the balance, always trying to balance the thing. It's not always easy, but I think for me, just having help. I'm big on support system. I'm big on creating the support system that helps me. So I'm here. I'm not going to. If I can't cook, I won't worry about going to the market. I'll look for. There's so many people on social media insights. Okay, who am I going to order okra soup from today? And no further soup. I tell my husband that's what we are eating. I'm ordering soup. So the soup is there. We make the eba. It's easier, than all those other things that add to the stress. So I believe in outsourcing. Outsourcing some things that can make your life stressful, just outsource it. All that cleaning in the house, hey, you're not going to catch me doing it. Outsource that one, because it just makes your life easier. It also gives you more time to spend with your family. It gives you more time to, so those are some of the things that I do that just, get out stress, go and have fun with my family, have fun with my friends, my girlfriends, just gonna hang out with my girlfriend and say bye-bye to work, bye-bye to husband and family. I gotta hang out with Dino. I come to your house at 12, then at 6 p.m. I now pack my bag and say I'm going back home. Husband, sort out all the issues between that time. Everybody that needs to eat, needs to do homework, is your wahala. So I think it's always important to have the balance. It's important to have the support. Don't try and be a superwoman, do it all on your own. When you realize that you're tired and you need to take time out. I know that there are times that when there was a time my son was admitted in the hospital, when we came back from admission, as I brought him out from the hospital that he was in admission, I went and dropped him with my mother. And I went back to my house to sleep for like 4 hours. So I'm big on support system around you, that help you make sense of all the things that make your life easier, as much as you can afford it. But just try and those things really, really make your life easier. Look for things that make you happy. If it's watching movies, if it's going out, if it's reading books, you need to find things that help you and have a very strong support system. I can't even say support support system. It needs to happen.
Okay, that's nice. I mean, now we know you have to, always have people around your support system, people you can fall back to. I would like to have the way you do. It sounds really, don't worry, after this, but I'm probably going to message you. I'm going to be in your DM.
Yes, sir. You need to be. Don't worry.
To get I'll be able to relax as you do. It's been really fun talking to you, learning all these things. Now if I'm playing a game, I can tell people, oh, please, I'm learning. So you can.
Yes, I'm not just playing.
I'm not just playing, I'm learning. Then I can also educate other people, parents, that it's good to let your children play educational games to help their brains develop. I'm really glad we had this talk, and I really hope to hear more things from you from 9JAKIDS.
Thank you so much. I know I'm BizWatch Nigeria for this opportunity. We don't take it for granted. Who knows how you came into my life? It's one of those things of connection, networking. You also made my life easier. Technology has made our life easier. I think that's one of the things that I took away from the pandemic. Leverage technology. Let me even use this opportunity to say that one of the blessedness to me of technology is the commute. Before people say, oh, come to my office, let's meet. Come to my office, let's meet. But after the pandemic, I can count the number of physical office meetings I've had. You know, the first is like, the first thing I'll say is, can we meet? Can we be virtual? So that's one of the things that's also taking out away our stress. So we didn't know that's one of the things that was stressing us. You know, so all that going island, mainland, commute, go for a 30-minute meeting, but you spent 3 hours commuting. It's part of the, you know, the blessedness of COVID. So people are now more willing to meet with you for the first time online, and it's wonderful. It's here to stay. Even with your team, you know, if anything happens, you know that people can, you can say, okay, you're not, if something happened this morning, say there's going to be this, no problem, let's all work from home, we can do the meetings. So I think, you know, COVID was a blessing. That's what I'll just keep saying. It was a blessing in disguise for a lot of reasons. I mean, a lot of businesses were affected, but I think anybody, if you're honest with yourself, there's something to learn from the pandemic to help better yourself and your organization.